Guys, so there's a number of videos reviewing Eclipse, but there's very few in terms of actually explaining how the rules work. Given that it's quite a complicated game, I thought I might just sort of do a little intro to what the player board looks like and just try and give people a bit of a heads up if they're looking to buy the game when it comes out again in April. I think it's April that it's being re-released, or if they're looking to play for the first time with their friends. So I've set up a player board. This is basically what you'll do. You'll get given a big bag full of stuff. So this is the blue player, and basically I've set it up for the red player in front of us. We'd have the space on in terms of the planets and stuff. This is our home planet, the central planet, which is really juicy, and then we've got some enemies planet back there. In terms of what we'll do then at the start of the game is we will literally get all of these cubes, which represent resources, on each of these tracks. You can see it starts at 2. The resources are going to be put onto planets, and that will scale up to from 2 to 3 to 4, so we're going to get more and more resources. These little blips at the bottom are your action markers, and eventually if we just zoom in you can see that that costs 0, and it zooms all the way up to -5, -7, -10 and things like that. So that is our economy, which is the orange track above. We need to have at least that much money, so we can go to -2 at the moment, which is the 4th action in a go before we would bankrupt ourselves. We have a number of other things, but we'll go through them in turn. The very first thing you do then is you take your first round dauber, this one here, and you go and place it on your home planet. Okay, you can see we've got a brown planet, a pink planet and an orange planet. So I'm going to take one resource cube from each of those tracks and put the orange one on the orange one. That's our economy. Pink one on the pink one. That's our science. And the brown one on the brown one. Now we're ready to play. So we've set up our home system. You can see there's a little shield there. That's victory points. The game is won on victory points. That is one of the ways to get them, by conquering different areas of space. The other main ways are fighting, and you can see that the research tracks in the middle of your board are also going to get you up to 15 victory points as well. So we're now at 3, which means we're getting 3 science a turn, and one of the actions we can do is research, and that will use science. 3 minerals a turn, and one of the things we can do is build, and that uses minerals. And 3 economy a turn, and that means that we can now go to the -3 dibber without too much worry. The little tracks over here represent our starting money, which is that orange one at the back, our starting materials, and our starting resource, starting research. The only thing I did forget to do on our home planet is to put one little tiny interceptor, and that is our fleet for the start of the game. So you're the first player. What do? You take your round circle, which is your action, and you choose to place it on one of these things. We'll go through each one in turn, and to be honest, then we'll be out of time. So the first action is explore. What that lets us do is that lets us choose one of the wormhole paths. You can see I've set these up, so we've got a 1 sector of space there, a 2 sector of space there, and finally a 3 sector of space there. We could also go out the back as well if we wanted to. 3 is a bit less dangerous potentially than 1 and 2, but it's not quite as interesting. If I flick 3 over, you can see actually first I have to match it so that the wormhole matches. This is quite a dangerous area. You can see we've got 2 planets, so a brown planet and an orange planet, and we've got a little cardboard cutout symbol, which is for a bit of alien technology, and unfortunately that's going to have an alien on it. Aliens are stronger than your starting ships, and we won't be able to go into it. If I had explored, so instead of doing that one, if I had explored this area of space, you see there's no alien. All there is just a circle, which means I can immediately put my second dauber onto that area of space. You can see I've got an orange planet with a starburst in it, and a pink planet. Now the starburst planets, we've actually got one when we started, but you can't really see it, it's hidden by a cube. They require special technologies to use it. But what we can do is we can take our pink resource and put it our resource cube and put it on that pink planet, because we've conquered that element of space. Now we'd only be able to do one action a turn, so if I had explored that one I wouldn't have been able to explore 3, and obviously you can't look and then change your mind. You can see that I've now got 4 on my research track. What also would have happened, you've got these 3 dobby things here, is this represents colony ships coming and landing on your planets, so I'd flick one of those over and that would mean I've put my cube on a planet, so you can only do it 3 times. So that's the first action. You can see that because I put one on space, I've actually used 2 circles, so we're already at -1. Now the most we'll be able to get to in this turn is 3, which is the resources we're getting on that turn, and we've already got a store of 2 money, so we can go all the way down to -5, which is 3 more actions before we're going to run out of things to do. The next action is influence. That lets us move our little circles around on the board. Not hugely useful. It does also let us put more planets, more cubes on planets. So if we potentially had 5 planets to colonize in a turn, an influence action would let us do that. Then we move on to research. Now, if this is a video of interest, I'll go through all of the research options available to us. At the moment we only have 3, so we won't be able to research a lot, and each technology has a research cost, and we'll use our resources at 4 coming in to build up enough to actually buy research. And it could be something to improve our ships, it could be something to allow us to colonize more planets, and things like that. The next one is upgrade. We're going to be able to research things like new guns, new engines and stuff like that. And when we do the upgrade action, we can take 2 technologies and put them onto any one of our spaceships. So this is our little baby cruiser, interceptor, sorry. And we've got an ion cannon at present, which is our gun. We've got a nuclear power source and a nuclear drive. Now that means you can see there's 1 hex there, so for 1 move we'll be able to move 1 space. So we could put another ion cannon in here. It would cost 1 power, but we've got 3 at the moment, we're only using 2. So that would mean we could put another ion cannon in there. Later on we're going to get more powerful guns, and it's going to be more interesting. Maybe we'll research some more powerful power sources or engines, and that will be interesting as well. You can see as you go up, the ships have more slots for you to put stuff in. The only rule is that you need a power source and an engine, but you have less big ships, 4 medium ships and tons of little ships, so it's a bit tactical in terms of what you want to actually build. So the upgrade action, the final one's star bases, which are alright, they're just defensive. The upgrade action lets you improve 2 slots of a ship. Then we have the build action. The build action lets us build the ships, and we can place them anywhere in our controlled space, and if we pay the actual resources. So you can see that this interceptor only costs 3 brown, 5 brown for a cruiser, and 8 brown for a dreadnought. Now we actually have 3 brown, so if I wanted to, I could make a build action, put that all the way down to 0 because we've used it up, take one of these ships and place it in a new sector of space if I particularly wanted to. So now we have a ship in this sector and in this sector of space. So that is the build action. The final action is move, and the board's really clear. You can see 3 arrows. That means we can make 3 moves for the 1 action. Okay, so you could either move 1 ship 3 times or potentially 3 ships 1 time. So you're going to go through and you're going to maybe explore a couple of times, and then maybe do a research action and maybe move your ships, and then you're at -5. Then at the end of the round you work out how much money you've got in, which is 3. You'll actually increase your resources all the way up to 5, and then you'll pay, and of course we said that was -5, and that brings you all the way down. Our manufacturing is at 3, so that goes up to 3. And our research is at 4, so that now rises to 7, and that means that we can now research bigger and more interesting things. There's a few other things just to be mindful of. This 3 hashes show you the number of colony ships, which is the number of planets you can colonize in a turn, and that 2-to-1 means you can trade any 2 resource for another. So if we had run out of money, we could use 2 research as 1 money. This has been a very quick overview, but I hope it just tries to clarify a little bit about what you've got on this board. Okay, all these cubes, they seem very daunting, but it's just to show the number of resources available to you at a given time. So it's 3, 4, 3 in this case. These daubers, as we put more and more on the space, it's going to get more and more expensive to grow, and it's a really nice mechanic. Okay, and it's just a really fun game. So if anyone's enjoying this, let me know, and I can try and go through the research actions and show you exactly what all of the research things do. We could do one on combat as well, and we could just give people a bit of a guide on how to play this really interesting and really fun game. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope it's of use. Have a good time playing.